Michael Bloomberg has volunteered to develop a coronavirus contact tracing program just to help the incredibly hard-hit New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area. Bloomberg Philanthropies, which of course was founded by him, will contribute $10.5 million as well as tech support and assistance to this program. I spoke with the former mayor earlier tonight. Mr. Mayor, tell us about this program you have decided to spend your money on in the area of public health.
Well, the virus is what's called a communicable disease. Compare it to cancer, which is a non-communicable disease. You get cancer from smoking or being obese or other things, but you don't catch it from somebody else. A communicable disease you catch from somebody else. So if you don't want to get it, you've just got to make sure you don't go near anybody who has it. Now, problems are we don't know who has it. The tests aren't perfect. It's not easy to get a test yet. And once they have it, you got to depend on them to tell you whether they have it so you know to stay away or stay away from everybody. And a lot of people will wear a mask that stops you from breathing the same air that the other person who may have the disease does. You have to stop touching the same things other people touch. If they are infected, you have a very good chance of getting it. So what we're trying to do here is to find out for somebody that has the disease, who else they talk to or were close to, and then warn those people and get them to stay in an area where nobody else can catch it from them if they've caught it. And you'll know after 2 weeks whether that person has caught it from the first person. And so what we're trying to do is put together a group which will interview people that have it, say, where were you? Who did you talk to? And then go to those people and say, you were exposed to somebody that had it. And so you've got to take precautions. You don't want to if you've caught it, you don't want to give it to your loved ones. So go and lock yourself away for 2 weeks because you were with somebody who had it and because you don't want to give it to somebody else.
This is such a vast spider web of contacts. If you and I saw each other in a Manhattan restaurant and one of us learned later that we were asymptomatic but carriers, think of the vortices that would come off that one meeting. I have to ask, given the state of the economy, is this going to mean jobs for people who need the work, need the money as contact tracing interviewers and researchers?
Well, we've already done the worst part. We've closed the restaurants. So the question now is to find out who you've talked to other than that. If you take the subway, it's pretty hard to get the names of everybody that's on the subway car. If you had been in a restaurant, the restaurant probably doesn't know the names of everybody else that was there. But if you just go around and stay out of the stores and stay out of the restaurants and stay in your home, you will not be touching anybody else who might have it. If you do touch somebody and you find out, then we can go and interview those people. You could interview the doorman in your building. You could interview the delivery man that brought the food to your house. And we need people to do that, and they have to be trained, and they have to know which questions to ask, and we want to make sure they don't divulge any personal information. But this is serious stuff, and particularly as you get older, it's more serious. Older people have a higher incidence of getting very sick and even dying from this disease. Younger people aren't immune, but they're more secure than if they were older. And somebody like my age, it's really a much more serious thing than if you were the age of my daughter or my grandkid is even less likely to catch to somebody. But Johns Hopkins is designing a program. We're trying to hire the people and train them and then make sure that they get the information to the right people and not to the wrong people.
And final question, you mentioned testing. We're talking about testing on this broadcast here tonight. Absent rock solid big numbers in testing, how much of a crimp does that put in this effort you've decided to finance?
Well, the fewer people that have it, the less likely somebody else is to be with somebody who has it. So what you're trying to do is to keep everybody that has it off the streets, and then nobody else will have it. And if the people that have it get over it, then they can go back on the streets, but they won't infect anybody. So it's not going to make it any worse, quite the contrary. If you can tell people that they were close to somebody who had it, they can then isolate themselves, which they would not do if you didn't have this process. So that's why Governor Cuomo's in favor of this program, and that's why we've had Johns Hopkins design the program. And if we can get it to work in New York, we can get it to work elsewhere as well. But every country's trying to do the same thing. Some have a more professional program than others. We want to make sure that New York has a very professional program run by people who are well trained and who you can depend upon not to take your personal information and give it to people who shouldn't have it.
Former mayor of the city of New York, former presidential candidate Mike Bloomberg, thank you for spending a few minutes with us tonight.
You're welcome, Brian. Good to be with you. Stay safe.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.